Hey everybody, welcome to this year's episode of Garage Tune TV. I know it's been a while since we've done one of these, not necessarily for lack of desire, but more because work's been sending me around the country. I'm trying to start a car dealership, which is difficult if you're doing it legitimately, and a slew of other projects we've got going on. But I haven't forgotten. I still want to get the Lexus done, and we're going to work on that a bit today. In fact, today's goal is going to be to get the wiring harness off of the new engine in preparation for putting the old wiring harness onto it. One of the things I need to make sure I do while I'm working on that is I want to leave the pigtails for the injectors on the injectors in this engine, because when I removed it from the old engine, every one of them broke. So rather than risk that again and have to buy new pigtails, which can be difficult to find for some engines, I'm just going to leave them on there and solder them to the old harness. So that's kind of the goal today. I do have a bit of a surprise, however. Since we only have one car right now, I picked up a second car to use as a daily so my wife can have our decent running car. This will probably irk some of you, but whatever. It is a 95 Nissan 240SX, Zenki S14, if you will. It's got about 220,000 miles, and like many cars in Minnesota, the fenders are rusted, the rockers are rusted. I haven't looked underneath it yet, but I'm guessing the rails are probably rusted as well. It needs a lot of love, but the cool thing for the car is that it is a rare color. It's a, if you can see through all the goop, gosh, what is it, Concord gray purple pearl or some funky thing. The interior is actually in fantastic condition and it's all there, and the engine runs decently well. Before the last owner, this was actually owned by a little old lady who added aftermarket cruise control and added that wing because she wanted to look more sporty. I like that it's not an SE model. I don't know. I think that all SEs have got sunroofs, and I don't care for sunroofs. So if it doesn't have it, it does have 4 lugs, which I really don't care about. However, it'll probably get swapped to 5 lugs simply because it's easier to find the new wheel hubs, which contain the wheel bearings, than it is to find just wheel bearings. So it might go 5 lug just by nature of me replacing the wheel bearings. Anyway, stick around and we'll get started on the wiring harness. Okay, so I haven't accomplished much yet, but it's been a long time coming. I really want to go and pick up one of those little Impacts handgun battery operated shim-shams. It'll make us go a lot faster, as well as every future project a lot faster. So I'm going to do that right now, and then I'll come back and we'll do some more of this. Alright, it's been a long time coming. I finally got one of these stupid little impact drivers. Hopefully it'll make this a lot faster and make me not destroy my wrists every 5 seconds. Alright, I'm going to try and take the evap, or the emissions crap off here first. I think that's what's kind of holding everything else up. You know, if anybody has a definitive remove all of your emissions crap guide to the 1UZ, send me a link, because I guarantee you this crap right here doesn't need to be here, but I hate to just start cutting crap off and find out later that there's something I need and then the engine runs all stupid. pouring right now. But let me update you here a second. So I got all the bolts that hold the intake, upper intake plenum, upper intake manifold, whatever you want to call it. I've got all those off that I can see. There's a couple of hoses down here that I still need to get off. Those are kind of a pain. It's loose now, which is good. Just trying to figure out what's left holding it on or stopping it from coming off. There's a bunch of little things like this. I think this is a fuel pressure regulator of some sort here that kind of blocks some of their hose from coming off, so I got to yank that off. And it's interesting. I don't know if you can see it with the darkness here, but the 1Us have two throttle bodies. It's got an inner butterfly valve there. It's opening and closing now. And then it's got this secondary one here, which must be some form of, I don't know, idle air control valve or cold start or cold idle something. You can tell it's definitely controlled by a servo. You can feel the pulls the motor as you move it up and down. So I'm guessing this right here is what actually controls that. Interesting though. I don't know what that's for. Kind of cool. Probably unnecessary. Yeah, so anyway. That's kind of where we're at right now. I'll keep trying to get that off. Once I get that off, getting the rest of the wires off shouldn't be a big deal. I may have to remove the exhaust manifolds, which kind of suck. But if I do, I do. You know, whatever. If I have to, I'll pull those off. The rest of the wiring off there. Otherwise, I mean, it's going pretty well so far. At the very least, I want to get this wiring harness off here today. I haven't really made any progress in the car, and I want to get back in the momentum of making progress. I want to drive this thing before too long, you know. So I've got too many projects, and I've got to at least get one of them going. Anyway, I'm going to take a quick break here. I'll come back and go back to work. Alright. I've pooped. I've eaten some nerds. Go back to work. Okay, so got the throttle body dual thing off there. Now holding the intake, upper intake manifold, intake plenum, whatever on. Looks kind of like a fuel line, I guess. That goes up and under. So let's pull that guy off. And I'm sorry if the footage is just my back. Just no good place to set you right now. I got the old wiring harness off. I may come back out tonight and try and put the other wiring harness on. I do need to order a gasket set for the engine. Whatever that blue sensor was. That's got to be some sort of coolant pressure or coolant temperature sensor. And solder all of the injector connectors on. One thing that's not troubling, but just causing me some thought is that when the salvage yard pressure tested this thing, everything's over 210 except this cylinder, which is 190. Do I care? I don't know. I mean, I really don't feel like taking apart the bottom end of the engine. I don't feel like lifting it up and dropping the pan to get off that one cylinder. And it's a pain in the butt to get cylinders back, or pistons back in from the bottom. I don't know. I'll think about it a bit. It's a drift car. I'm going to beat the hell out of it. It's going to be on the red line all the time. I don't know. I can go either way. Anyway, I think that'll probably be it for today's episode. I'll come back later with one probably on the S14. And then hopefully next week I'll get the gasket kit in. And we'll come back and put the new harness on here with new gaskets and get it all ready to go so that I can start working on the EGR block-off plates and then the transmission. So, as always, guys, thank you for watching. If you have any suggestions or comments, just let me know. See you later.